to the Laying Foundations podcast. This is your co-host, Davis Hambrick. Joining alongside me today is Walker Lott. What's up, Walker?
What's up, dude? Welcome back.
Man, I appreciate you being willing to go along this ride with me. I hope Jamie doesn't end up killing Erik. We've had some fun times already, but let's go ahead and get it started. Today, guys, we got the awesome opportunity to enter the Perkins brothers from Perkins Enterprises. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's happening there?
Yeah, and my apologies. We are driving around because of a change of work schedule today. So we're in my truck. My brother's driving, and hopefully he won't kill us, on air. That'd be embarrassing. So thanks for having us.
Let's hope not, man. We're excited to have you guys on. So for those of you who don't know, the Perkins brothers have their own construction company up in the mountains of North Carolina, right?
That's correct. Western North Carolina. Very much in the mountains, yes.
And they had their own YouTube channel called Perkins Brothers, correct?
Perkins Builder Brothers, yes.
Perkins Builder Brothers, awesome. We'll go.
Which
check
is a
them
mouthful. I sort of regret naming it that in a way.
No, it's good.
Hey, I like it. But hey, Erik, starting off, man, tell us a little bit about yourself and your brother Jamie and how y'all got into construction.
Okay, yeah. So we'll try to make it quick, but generally speaking, we have been doing construction since we were 12 years old. My dad was actually an architect, and then he started doing some building, and he was building custom homes for people locally. And, we sort of got roped into helping him, actually, as young kids. You probably get arrested, actually, these days for throwing like a 12-year-old kid up on a roof, like doing the stuff we did at the age we did. But, we actually learned a ton, like actually how to like build a whole house probably by the time we were 15. Wow. So when we got old enough to take over our family business, we did.
3 years later.
So Jamie got his contractor's license, and we had no idea what we were doing. As far as business end of it.
Yeah, business
owners.
I got to tell you, though, truthfully, when I got my license, I walked away thinking, man, I can't believe they just gave me a license. Seriously? Do they know me?
Well, maybe we don't want to tell everybody that.
How old were you when you got your license?
I was 18, and as a matter of fact, I passed the North Carolina contractor's license exam before I graduated high school. So that was pretty cool. Thanks to my drafting teacher, let me study a lot during the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool perspective, Jamie, that the architect side. I've seen some of the videos. Do you by hand draw every document you'll put together? That's just something that you do, whenever you have spare time? How does that work?
Yeah, this is Erik speaking. So Jamie and I used to draw a lot of stuff by hand. Jamie has a drafting table at home, like a legit architectural old school drafting machine.
Very good.
Do they still use those anywhere? I don't know.
In places that don't have electricity.
Yeah, so that was working, but it's really hard to make changes. If someone wants to redesign, if it's drawn, you have to erase it with an eraser. So actually, my college background, I did go to college for 4 years, and I got a degree in computer science. And so when we started doing our own designs, which we do almost 100% in-house design now for our projects, we thought we need to do something more efficient. And so I bought some CAD software, and I taught myself how to use it over a span of a year or so. And then we started doing all of it in CAD.
Wow, that's really cool.
So that was exciting.
Use Revit or like one of those type of softwares, or what?
Well, the one I actually use most is the simplest one. Okay. And it's called Home Designer Pro by Chief Architect. Awesome. And it's kind of tailored towards residential homes. So it has scale beds and dressers and refrigerators and tubs, and like when you drag and drop a wall, it's automatically 2x6 framing exterior wall with lap siding on it. And so just a lot of the auto settings are like exactly what we're going to do anyways for most of these residential projects.
Right.
It's pretty fun. It's not a bad time.
No, that's awesome. I think that the way that technology is going nowadays is really incredible, especially for building and just the uses of it. when in terms of y'all building your residential, and using technology, how much have you found that it helps your business run a lot more smoother when you have that technology to put it onto the owners, say, hey, this is what it's going to look like, this is how it can be, this is what we can do with it? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And right offhand, I can give you a couple of huge advantages from where we switched over. Number one is the plans are digital, obviously, so I can have it on my phone, and it can be on all of our guys' phones, actually. And so everyone has a set of plans in their pocket. And that sounds kind of crazy, but you can zoom way in on these things, and you don't have this one set of plans like just constantly blowing off the job site, every 5 seconds, or getting ruined in water. So you're just able to share with more people. And we're also able to do 3D renderings and walkthroughs and all kinds of stuff like HGTV style that people love. Like people don't want to see just the floor plan. Like if they see just the floor plan, they're like, well, what's the house look like? And so obviously if you're drawing by hand, that's a lot of work to draw 4 elevations for them to know what does it look like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Having experience with blueprints and such, Eric and I could look at a plan and envision it as if you walk through the house.
Yeah.
Because we do this every day of our lives. People that don't do that a lot, they just can't imagine it to be what it really is going to be.
Yeah. That's a good statement, I guess. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. So whenever y'all have a conflict out in the field, Eric, do you just blame it on Jamie for messing up the drawings?
Yeah, no, I'm the one that did the drawings. So usually it goes like this. Hey, Eric, where's this window go? There's no dimension on the plan for that. And my reply is, oh, I was going to figure that out on site, because I wasn't sure where it would be best. So there's a lot of that where drawing your own plans, you can kind of leave some of the things open for interpretation as you build, because the big thing around us is the view. And so the way the house is oriented or something like that, you might actually want to shift some windows, or, hey, we need another window right here. This view is amazing, but this other spot over here, there's a huge tree and we don't need a window there. That's getting blocked. So, being your own architect, you don't have to call the architect and get their permission or a redraw. I can just say, yep, yeah, move it or do that. And now there is some structural concerns. If, all of a sudden you put a window opening below like your ridge post that's carrying a load bearing ridge or something. Luckily, with our experience, we know the codes on header sizes and stuff like that if we need to make a swap.
Right.
Just FYI on the structural end.
Yeah. Do you think learning under an architect like your dad and being out in the field, it helped y'all become a better builder where y'all are at today?
Yeah, definitely. You sort of have that designer builder mentality that everything you're doing, you're going to double check it. You're going to really think about efficient ways to make the structure strong without wasting money. That's a huge thing when you're building, for profit business like we are. There's a lot of different ways you could build a structure. Some might cost twice as much and not really be any better.
Yeah. So in terms of y'all's company, and residential commercial or residential construction business, how do y'all go about building each home? I mean, do you have multiple homes that you're building right now, or you just solely focus on one and focus on quality over quantity instead of vice versa?
Yeah, the latter. We definitely focus on quality over quantity, and we generally have one project going at one time, and that gives us 100% of our concentration toward that project, including our interaction and communications with the homeowner. That's one of the hardest parts, is keeping in constant communication and making sure that we're doing the details the way that they want them if it's a custom home. And that really takes up a lot of time. If we had to juggle multiple homeowners, especially really needy ones, I'm telling you, there's regular ones, and then there's really needy ones, and then there's crazy ones. But anyway, it's all you can do to satisfy one customer at a time. For us, that's all that we can manage. So we have gone and tried to do multiple projects. It gets to be a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, keeping the finances of the business operating right and keeping everything sorted out. It turns into big headaches. So we prefer focus on one. It keeps everybody, kind of in that chill zone of not being overstressed. And the homeowners are happy because they feel like they have your complete attention. And we get through the project usually with less hang-ups, problems, less hassle, less, oops, I forgot about that. And now we're already past that stage. And I'm sorry, you can't have that thing you wanted that I told you you could have because we already covered it up. So
let me add on to that statement just a little bit is you could probably make more money doing it other ways, like doing a bunch of houses. Personally, we would rather have less hassle and less money than more hassle and more money. So I think if you're going to be a builder, you got to do some soul searching. Where do I stand with them? Where do I want my life to go? Do I want less stress and less money, or more stress and more money?
Right.
So
y'all made two really good points, Jamie. I liked your point of buying in with one owner. You talk about relationships, and we've talked about this in previous podcasts. You're only as successful as your relationships, and it seems like from what we see, we see the edited version on YouTube, but we see you guys and how much fun you have with the crew. Maybe speak to that a little bit if you could.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, relationships is a big thing. And also I want to add, we live in a small area where you're going to see people at the grocery store. You're going to see people at the gas station. You're going to run into somebody at Walmart. And there's a good likelihood that just in daily life, we will see the people that we've built for. And so we do like to, keep everything positive right to the very end, even if we got to bite our tongues sometimes and just get through it. Right. What was the second half?
Yeah. So I'll answer the second half. So you see the edited version. He's speaking about our YouTube channel, which we put out a video now on the series we're doing about every single day we go to work, which is kind of crazy. And kind of a big part of the video is our interactions, busting each other's balls, if you will.
Can't say balls.
Oh, can't say balls. Busting each other's butts, kind of deal, So, and what I'll say about that is, I guess it's only the tip of the iceberg versus reality. Like, if we could video everything that happened, we would just be videoing stuff all day. But none of that is made up. Like, the relationships we have with our guys and the people that kind of come on site that we see regularly is real. And it's because we've known them for a long time, and we just refuse to work with people that drag you down. So we just like to build stuff. Number two, have a good time doing it. And otherwise, we don't really want to do it.
Right.
Right.
I think
So
that's a good point. I think we spoke previously, Eric, in one of our first calls was you'd rather, and tell me if I'm wrong here, you'd rather have someone that doesn't really know much about construction, but comes in and has a good work ethic and is willing to work together.
yes. Now, if I can have both of those things together, someone is fun, good work ethic, positive, and knows everything about construction, 100% would choose that person. But when it just came down to the line, like you said, if one person was just totally negative, a drag to be around, was going to just pull down the morale of our whole crew, we do not want that person on our job. It's hard enough just dealing with all of the other things you have to deal with, whether supply chain, things that happen. You need positive people around you, I think, to be successful.
Right. Yeah. You just mentioned a good point about supply chain, and I know the prices of lumber this year is going crazy. Have y'all had to get creative in the way y'all, kind of gotten some lumber this year?
Well, we were lucky enough to have a YouTube channel. So some of our lumber was given to us at a very discounted rate through sponsorships, and we did advertising for those companies. That's awesome. As part of a partnership. So we also, passed that savings along to our client to help them out. And so otherwise, though, for things that weren't having to do with YouTube sponsorships, we paid full price. And it's up about, close to 50% on framing. And so in our contract, this is getting a little more detailed. We do have a line that says if lumber prices or prices of any of the materials it takes to build your house go up drastically, or what we would call drastically, we have the right as a builder to just charge the difference. Because you could literally lose your butt on one job. Like this job, we would have actually not made a dime.
Wow.
Because of the extra cost of material. So we actually asked the homeowner before we started, say, look, I would guesstimate that you're going to pay $20,000 extra just in framing material cost. Do you still want to proceed right now? Like, we could go down to the next person we have in line and see if they want to, but they're ready to get their house built. And so they're going to make it happen.
Yeah, I know that for one of our classes here at Auburn, we have to do a service project. And so basically you go in and you build something for someone, and our project is continuing expanding this house. And so we have to do siding and the windows and everything. But right now we found that the windows are 8 to 10 week lead time. And we're like, well, we can't really do much siding until we get the windows in, and we only have 10 weeks of class, you know? And so it's like, what are we going to do? And I think we got to
womp, womp, womp.
Right. Exactly. I think we got to
go down to Lowe's and see what you can buy off the shelf.
Mix and match windows. So going back
we've done crazier things.
Hey, I believe it. Construction, you have to be creative. But going back to previous questions or previous topic that we just talked about, you know, in terms of people working for you in trades, what do y'all feel like has been the hardest aspect of you running a business and having to find like trade people and people who know what they are doing and fill in those spots? I mean, what do you see as the biggest problem nowadays with in terms of those positions?
Okay, I lost you there on the audio for some of the question, but you know, about our other tradespeople, we have made a real effort to use the same companies for trades for as long a period of time as we can, as long as we're happy with their work. So like our drywall guy, for example, they've been doing work for us probably 20 years now. And so they know the deal, we know the deal, you know, we can skip the chit chat or whatever, we can have a good time. But same with the electrician, and we've been using him for at least 5 or 6 years now. And the one we had before him was about a 15-year relationship. So what we like to do is get with one that we really like, that we just person to person get along with really well.
And they do a good job.
And they do a fantastic job. And I will say that we don't use the cheapest tradespeople. There are less reputable, less expensive tradespeople that use lesser quality materials sometimes to be able to have a lesser price, but also not as good workmanship. We really like people that can kind of honor the I don't know, I guess the long-standing relationship where I say, hey man, I got a house coming up in 2 weeks. I know your lead time may be like 3 or 4 weeks, but I really need you to be here in 2 weeks, you know, and they will like make special changes to get us in and make it happen, right? Whereas if you call a company and they don't know you, they are not going to accommodate you any special way or anything. And we're not asking for special treatment or anything like that. But a long-standing relationship does definitely increase your chance of them being willing to help you, right?
Most of the time. And then, you know, jumping in here, as far as people we hire, we live in a very rural area.
That means not a city.
Hey, we're from Alabama. We know.
Okay. So, you know, there's not a huge population of people to choose from.
The selection is limited.
The selection is very limited. And so, you know, to find good employees, if we get one, we will pay them very well. We will let them have time off if they need it. We will buy them tools if they want them. You know, we like try to make it rain for them, you know. And then, you know, we have had the employees that work for us for a few weeks and we know pretty much the first day that it's not going to work out. You know,
it's not me.
And you know, I hate to say this, but most of them have been like young, like what, 18 to 21 age range. And we're in our middle 30s age range. So we're not, you know, we're not young, but we're not old either.
Nope.
So most of the problem we've had, and it just was like, I guess a lack of work ethic,
maturity, a little bit of
maturity, but mostly they just show up late every day. Seem like that's fine to them. Show up at 8. We say show up at 8, they show up at 9. And, that can only happen a few times. But they're like, what's the big deal? It's 9, and then,
a little laziness.
And yeah. And, here, carry a stack of block, like from here to there. And they're like, oh,
a little bit of complaining, too much complaining.
Yeah. So anyway, that I would say be and I hate to say it. So we're excited about what you're doing would be to encourage young people to get excited about construction as a career. And, the whole hard work part, it keeps you in shape. So, I think I like a hard work day,
Hey, what did that guy's hat say? That's a good saying on the guy's hat.
Oh,
dirty hands, clean money.
Dirty hands, clean money.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Somewhere we saw that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been doing it as long as y'all have, but I've been in construction in some sort of way out in the field since I was 16. And y'all spoke on a little bit about relationship and craftsmanship. The guys that I know that have been out in the field for as long as you guys, they have an amazing worth ethic, and they just value people. And that's really one of the reasons why I've always tried to work hard. Being a young guy, I try not to have that attitude like, oh, I have to move this block, like y'all said. But there needs to be more of a shift for young people to just sometimes you just got to suck it up and do it. I know not every day is going to be fun, but the people that if you have good relationships with that team, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me add to that. If there's any young people listening to this, the days I hate the most are the days I have to sit at home at my chair at my desk. It is more stressful. My body actually hurts worse sitting in a chair. And at the end of the day, I feel more tired and crappy than I do when I'm outside building something all day.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I'll say something too here, if you don't mind. I think there's a great amount of satisfaction in the accomplishments of building stuff. Like when you get done, even on a hard day, you look at what you made that day before you go home and you say, yes, we did that. We built that thing. That stupid wall. I built that thing. Look at it. All right, now I'm going home.
I think that that's just kind of an innate quality that we have as human beings, especially going back to Jesus was a carpenter, and it's just like we just love to build things with our hands and see kind of the craftsmanship that we have at the end of the day. Of man, like you said, look at that wall. I just put that wall up. It might have sucked to get there, but I put it up.
Yeah, hopefully you don't look at it and you're like, we didn't build the window in that wall or something right when you're leaving. Yeah. That's the worst. But so yeah, I mean, if you're young, I would encourage people that like working hard, even though it seems like a downer as you go through your life, is actually a very healthy thing.
Yeah, I think that I love this. I love everything y'all just said. I think going back to kind of how the world's gone, and especially how high school is treated, that people have taken trades out of high school. They've taken the workshop and the car mechanic shop out, and they don't preach on hard work, blue collar much anymore. It's all about getting a technology job or going out there and marketing and business. Yeah. And those are all fantastic, but who do you think builds the building that you're sitting in to do that job, or builds a road that you can go and travel to do your job? People don't think about the other areas in life that we need. And the thing about business or construction is that it's never going away, and you can't really replace it with technology as much as you can other things. You're always going to have someone to go out there and hammer in the nail or to lay the concrete
by hand.
Exactly. So what do y'all think is the biggest piece of advice you kind of already talked on it a little bit, but what do you think is the biggest piece of advice that y'all would give a 18-year-old, a 20-year-old coming out of high school, going into college, coming out of college, going into workforce? If y'all could go back and talk to your own 20-year-old self, what piece of advice would you give?
Well, that's real easy. The first thing I would say is there is no way to make money that's not work. That's the goal, I think, for a lot of these people, what causes maybe the lazy streak. And I think I even had it for a while. I was trying to find another way for a while because you know, at the young age, working with my dad, I hated it. I was like, I'll never do this. And, you know, so there's no shortcut unless you just hit the lottery or, you know, you're just independently wealthy that I've ever found anyway, to earn a living without actually earning a living. So that would be the biggest piece of advice. And that's not really just to do with construction, but that's kind of a life coach moment. So what would you say, Jamie?
I don't know. I think about, you know, I've got 3 kids. Eric has, you know, 3 kids. So I try to think about, you know, what would I say to them and how to encourage them and how to encourage
Don't be lazy.
a new generation, or what best advice, you know, having somebody as a mentor, I believe, even if you don't work for them, you know, a lot of people on YouTube ask questions like, hey, can I come and work for you guys? Or what's the best way to get started? And I would say, if there's somebody, even if it's a family member or somebody in the trades, even if it's not the trade that you want to do, to have a mentor that is already in the trenches, already doing this, has already, you know, been involved in construction for a long time, to, you know, give advice or not like tips and tricks, not that kind of stuff. But I think that would be super helpful because I've had several people that have been mentors to me and all the different things that I'm involved in, woodworking, and even like welding and metalwork and construction and even in business, you know, it's important to have some of the older people to just you know, pick you up if you're feeling beat up and give you encouragement and things like that, you know, because you will get beat up a bit. You'll have some things go south that you wish you'd have done better at, and you learn from your experiences. But just to keep on trekking on, you know.
And I got one thing I could add. We got another minute. You know, my advice would be, don't be afraid to go for it, even if you don't know what you're doing yet. So we've taken projects on at times where we signed a contract to do something we didn't know how to do at the time we signed the contract. Like literally, we're signing a contract saying we're going to build you this or that, have never done it in our lives. But our mentality has always been like, if somebody can do it, then we can learn how to do it.
I like it.
And do it just the same.
Yep.
So like, and so, hey, we're also on this show called the Startup Hustle, Startup Hustle TV, which, you know, if you're a parent listening with small children, it does have some adult language, not really us, but some of the other cast members. But it's a very real show, and it's following some entrepreneurs. And that's sort of a thread that goes through all of the people that are on there is nobody knows what they're doing, really. They're just that mentality of, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to either fail or I'm going to be successful, but I'm going to go for it. So,
yeah, I love that. That's what Walker mentioned in the last podcast, was that we go get after it. You know, we're not going to have everything 100% every single time, but you got to have the ability to want to go get after it and learn on the run. And I love that about you guys. I think just wrapping up really quick, I know you guys are pressed for time, and maybe I'll get a laugh out of this. I don't know. But if I can get your opinion on this, you know, which hammer swings with more force, a 15-ounce S-swing or your 15-ounce stiletto?
that's easy, bub.
Stiletto.
Stiletto all the way.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. We all got those stilettos. It's sort of it's a tool you use every day. It's okay to spend extra money on stuff you use.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we take pride in those stiletto hammers. And actually, I think we tried to get them to sponsor us, but they're not into sponsoring like influencers at that company. So we got shot down.
Yeah, I got a selection of stilettos in the truck. So depending on what I'm doing, you know, I got to pick the right stiletto for the day. You know what I'm saying?
I know
You gotta have the right
but
tool
hey,
for the
listen,
job.
race car drivers. Yeah, you know, race car drivers spend a lot of money on their gas pedal, right? Because that's the one they use a lot. All right, it's no big deal.
Do they?
No,
You just making that?
I just made that up.
Well, Eric and Jamie,
All right,
man,
you must be done. I don't know.
we really appreciate you guys being on the show. We know you're about to have to leave, but man, we are so thankful for it, and really appreciate you guys being willing to share to our audience and to everyone out there who's either thinking about construction or wants to go into it or just doesn't know what it's all about, man. So Everyone go check these guys out. The Perkins Builder Brothers, right? YouTube and their
There it is.
website. And man, again, thank you guys so much. We really look forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah, and
Appreciate
yeah,
you guys.
likewise, we appreciate what you guys are doing. Encouraging young folks to, get after it. So y'all have a great day.
You too.
Appreciate it, guys.